Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 68. We're going to talk about She-Wolf, Wilczyca, sorry for the pronunciation, from 1983. I watched this on Tubi. I had not seen this before. As always, we begin with the prominent crew and cast. Apologies for the butchering of these Polish pronunciations. The film was directed by Marek Piastrak, written by Jerry Gierotowski, with effects makeup by Alicia Kozlowska. Let's just add Polish artists to the list of nationalities that I have trouble tracking down information on, and as you noticed, pronouncing names. The cast includes Krzysztof Jasinski as Kasper Wazinski, Iwona Bielska as Mariana Wazinska and Countess Julia, Stanislaw Brejgant as Count Ludwig, Olgierd Lukaziewicz as Otto von Furstenberg, Henryk Machelika as Dr. Goldberg, Leon Niemaczyk as Count Victor Smorowinski, and Jerzy Prasmowski as Matthias Wozinski. Oh, that was tough. I absolutely recommend this film. It is so different from anything I've watched so far for this project, and that makes it refreshing. That said, it's not perfect. It starts great, gets slow in the middle while the tension mounts, and then ends with a bang. If that sounds good to you, check this out. Let's review the synopsis. A hawk tears at a horse corpse on a battlefield. Kasper Wozinski returns home from war to find his wife, Mary, ill. She aborted her unborn bastard child. A doctor tries saving her, but she's too damaged. The pair clearly had a rough marriage. Mary has taken the crucifix off the wall and burnt it. She refuses the last rites of the church, curses Kasper, and dies holding a carved witch's talisman. Outside, wolves howl in the night. Realizing Mary made a pact with the powers of darkness, Kasper and his brother Matthias stake her heart and then bury her. The vicar refuses to conduct her service. The whole community knew of her promiscuity and debauchery and how much she hated Kasper. He wants no part of this village and heads off to a much nicer estate belonging to his friend, Count Victor Smorowinski. Victor needs to escape the hussars or face arrest. His mansion has hidden passages. His wife, Julia, who is French, dislikes both Victor and his rural mansion. She is disdainful and accuses him of being impotent. Victor asks Kasper to look after the estate and Julia while he has to be away. Kasper sees a white wolf stalking the estate. He has nightmares and visions of his dead wife returning from the grave. He gets sick and is treated by Dr. Goldberg. Kasper's favorite hound is cruelly mauled by wolves. Julia has a very twisted affair with Prussian cavalry officer Otto von Furstenberg, whom she has known for a long time. The pair are into mixing a little blood and pain into their sex life. Kasper discovers the affair. Matthias visits and tells Kasper he can't stay at their original home anymore. He's seen Mary's decaying corpse wandering the home and grounds. Matthias believes Mary's corpse was freed due to a recent battle disturbing her grave. The wolves have gotten active as well. All this causes Kasper to realize Mary looks just like Julia. However, consumed with hatred over her infidelity and betrayal, Kasper refuses to pray mass for her soul to be at peace. Kasper's recovery is slow, and he suspects Mary has possessed Julia to torment him. Concern grows over a large white she-wolf seen on the estate. Kasper cleans his guns and starts keeping one pistol loaded at all times. He follows wolf tracks inside the mansion and shoots at a shadow. He hears Mary's laugh. Julia gets her fortune told. The fortune teller says Julia has changed. Kasper hunts the wolf in the forest. He finally hits it with his gun and tracks the blood trail back to an injured Julia. Dr. Goldberg agrees to forge a holy silver bullet for Kasper. Goldberg casts a spell on Mary's picture and stabs it. It bleeds, and so does Julia. Julia hosts a ball, but only Otto attends, as others see her as a traitor to Poland. Kasper and Goldberg forge a silver bullet, quench it in holy water, and carve a cross into it. That night, Kasper loads his pistol with the bullet and confronts Julia and Otto in her room. He shoots her in the eye. He fights several German soldiers before he is shot and escapes on a horse. When Victor returns home, it is to dig up his buried wife and have her properly interned in the churchyard. However, instead of her body in the casket, it's the skeleton of a large wolf. Unfortunately, there is no transformation. While Mary/Julia is a werewolf, it's the kind that transforms into a full wolf. No hybrid makeup job. That said, the effects makeup on Mary's corpse sneaking around was convincing. This is very different from a lore perspective. Let's get into that. Mary becomes a werewolf by making some kind of pact with the dark powers. The film's a little vague on the details. She does so with the express purpose of hurting Casper. She is temporarily held at bay with a stake through her heart, but the battle frees her. She also spiritually possesses Julia. She turns into a huge wolf to stalk her prey. The film borrows the great little tidbit you read in so many old school medieval werewolf legends about the wolf getting injured and the wound indicating a specific human when Casper shoots the wolf and Julia ends up with the bandage on her hand. We also go back to the short story the very first werewolf film was based on, to have the silver bullet consecrated with holy water and with a cross carved into it as the tool that finally kills the beast. The film appears to be set in the mid to late 1800s, indicated by little details like Casper using percussion cap muzzle-loaded pistols, the clothing styles, and references to hiding from hussars, cavalry soldiers. To understand the themes in relation to when it was made in 1980s Poland, under Soviet influence, we must first look at 19th century Polish history. By the early 1900s, Poland had been partitioned and occupied by powerful neighboring empires, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. The Russian Empire particularly tried eradicating Polish culture and identity through Russification. Throughout that century, Poles engaged in uprisings and revolutions, attempting to overthrow foreign rulers and regain independence, though ultimately failing. Despite the political oppression, Polish culture thrived in literature, art, and music. Using the Polish language itself became an act of resistance. This spirit of fighting for freedom became core to the enduring Polish national identity. While set in the 1800s, the film was made in early 80s Poland, which was then controlled by the Communist Polish United Workers' Party and heavily influenced by the Soviet Union as a satellite state. The 70s saw political upheaval, economic woes, consumer goods shortages, high inflation, and growing unrest against the repressive regime as people pushed for reforms and freedoms. This situation of being dominated by an oppressive foreign power while fighting to preserve Polish identity has striking parallels to 19th century partitioning and occupations. By setting the film in mid-1800s Poland, the filmmakers used that period's foreign domination and resistance movements allegorically to comment on 80s Soviet control and Poland's contemporary struggle for democracy and sovereignty. The French and Prussian nationalities of characters like Julia and her lover are not coincidental given this historical context. Under Soviet influence in the 70s and 80s, Polish cinema faced strict censorship guidelines, promoting socialist ideals while suppressing dissent. Yet, filmmakers showed resilience by using allegory, symbolism, and metaphor to covertly critique the regime and explore oppression, injustice, and human perseverance. Their ambiguous films evaded censors while reaching audiences domestically and earning international acclaim. It was a delicate balance of conformity and resistance as they grappled with constraints while preserving their artistic integrity. I want to talk for a second about the critic's curse. I launched this channel out of my passion for werewolf movies and have watched 68 of them for this project to date. While my love for these films has only grown, I must admit that I find less enjoyment in those who cling to the same old formula. This is what I call the curse of the professional critic. Critics, including myself, consume a lot of films, which is fantastic. However, we can easily become disinterested due to the repetitive nature of many movies, which often rely on predictive plots, cliched characters, and familiar storylines. The lack of innovation or originality can lead to a sense of monotony and detachment. Moreover, critics crave films that challenge conventional storytelling norms, push artistic boundaries, and offer fresh perspectives. When mainstream movies fall short in providing compelling narratives or thought-provoking content, critics may lose interest and long for more intellectually stimulating cinema. They may also grow tired of the excessive use of special effects or superficial elements that overshadow meaningful storytelling and character development. In essence, critics, like myself, seek fresh, innovative storytelling and a willingness to explore new cinematic territories, making films like the one I'm reviewing a breath of fresh air, a unique and refreshing take on the werewolf genre. So in conclusion, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan on discussing The Company of Wolves from 1984. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bullet in the chamber, and we'll see you back next episode.